Hey guys, James here, and today I have a Battlefield 4 weapon guide for you, and this is going to be a very simple guide. It's focusing mostly on the important weapons, and all the stats that you'll see in this video are from Symthic.com. They have a lot of great stats and charts on a bunch of different first-person shooters. I'll leave a link to their website in the description below. And the opinions in this video are based either on my personal use or sort of feedback from the community, you know, how the average player feels about certain guns. And just a little disclaimer, all the weapons I'm going to be talking about here are assault rifles or carbines. So I guess you could more accurately call it the assault rifle guide / the assault rifle little brother guide. And I have anywhere from 100 to 200 kills with all of these guns, which doesn't seem like a lot, but considering there's, gosh, like what, 20, 25 different weapons between those two categories, that actually does add up to be quite a few kills. Now, first I did say that I would only be focusing on the important weapons, and then I said assault rifles and carbines, and I do find them to be the most important, and they're clearly the most used. Assault rifles have been the dominant guns in Battlefield for years now, and carbines are great now due to being able to be used on all different classes. Now, to start things off, I think it's important to know what the damage model is for guns in Battlefield. Most guns in the same class do the same maximum damage. There are two exceptions within these groups, I'll get to them later. And then they will drop to one of a couple different values for their minimum damage at whatever range that is. Most assault rifles and carbines do 25 maximum damage, which is a 4-shot kill in that range. And then assault rifles drop to 18 minimum damage, which is a 6-shot kill at that range. And carbines drop to 15.4 minimum damage, which makes them 7-shot kills at range. And actually the MTAR-21, which is a carbine, is listed with the assault rifle minimum damage. I'm not completely sure if that's either a typo or if it's just sort of a weird trait that gun has. It doesn't really make sense with the other traits that gun has, but who knows. And the range at which these weapons reach their minimum damages also vary. Generally, carbines drop off much faster than assault rifles do, but carbines make up for that decreased range with better mobility and hipfire accuracy. Most of these guns have 30 bullets per magazine plus the one in the chamber, but there are actually 4 exceptions to that. Now that we have some of the basics out of the way, I'll get into a few popular guns. Now, if you played this game more than 5 minutes, chances are you've been killed by the Ace-23. And by no means is this gun overpowered. There are lots of guns in the game that compete with it, but it is generally accepted as the best gun in the game. Now, why is that? And to go into that, we really need to look at what makes any gun good in Battlefield. I think the biggest thing is rate of fire. Generally, the best guns shoot faster than average, but aren't the very fastest. The best weapons need to be ones that shoot fast, but that are still fairly easy to control with help of grips and other attachments. The sweet spot for some of the best weapons in Battlefield games has been around 750 to 800 rounds per minute. The M16A3 in Battlefield 3, very widely considered overpowered, shot at 800 rounds per minute. And the M416 in Battlefield 3 and in Battlefield 4 shoots at 750 rounds per minute. The Ace-23 that I previously mentioned shoots at 770, just beating out the M416. And then an outlier to what I would consider the great guns is the AEK, which shoots at 900 rounds per minute. Now, why is it that the highest rate of fire isn't always the best? If that's a big factor, why aren't the ones that are best at that the best overall? Well, the biggest thing that counters the rate of fire is recoil. The Ace-23 is better than a gun like the AEK due to its first shot recoil. The AEK has a 3 times multiplier on its first shot's recoil. This multiplier is only 2 times on the Ace-23, and just to throw it in for comparison, the M416 has a 2.2 multiplier on that first shot, but better recoil than the Ace-23 other than that. So as I mentioned, the Ace-23 and the M416 are in that sweet spot of rate of fire at 750 and 770 rounds per minute. Because of this lower rate of fire and slightly lower recoil, the average player will have a much easier time controlling the recoil of these guns than they will controlling the AEK, the FAMAS, the MTAR-21, other high rate of fire guns. But just because they may be the best overall doesn't mean that they're the best for everyone. You need to find a gun that works well for you and fits your skill level. If you're a very skilled player and you're great at controlling recoil, you might want to give it a go with a gun like the AEK, MTAR, FAMAS that I just mentioned. Those have super high rates of fire and they can drop people really quickly if you control that recoil. But I think Battlefield did a great job of giving the newer players a gun that's easy to work with in the AK-12. It's the first gun that you unlock for the assault class, and it has fairly low recoil and a 650 rate of fire, so it again is much easier to control than these faster firing weapons. But as you become better and better at the game, I think it is good to try the higher rate of fire guns, and the main stat that backs that up is time to kill. Now, based on their rates of fire and the fact that they are 4 shots to kill up close, a gun that shoots at 900 rounds per minute, like the AEK or the MTAR, will kill you in about 100 milliseconds less than the AK-12, which shoots at 650 rounds per minute. Now, obviously 100 milliseconds doesn't seem like a very large amount of time, but us PC players know that that can be a huge difference as far as ping goes, and generally you would want to play with a 50 ping over 150 ping, so if you can be just as accurate with each gun, using the AEK over the AK-12 would almost be like cutting your ping by 100. Now finally, there are two guns that do sort of bridge the gap between these lower rate of fire guns and these lower time to kill guns. The Scar H and the Ace-52 CQB both have lower fire rates of 620 rounds per minute and 650 rounds per minute respectively, but they both have higher damage. They both have 34 damage, and then their drop-offs are also different. I of course have the charts on the screen so you can see that. Now as for their recoil, they do have higher overall recoil but lower first shot recoil. Also, as I mentioned before, there were a few guns that had different ammo capacities, and these are two of them. The Scar H can hold 20 bullets plus the one in the chamber, and the Ace-52 has 25 bullets plus one in the chamber. So these are really some very interesting guns, and I've had good games with both of them, so they could be a better fit for you, so I'd definitely say they're worth trying out as well. Now to really sum all of this up, the best thing I can say is that you should try different guns. In fact, it's highly possible that a gun I didn't even talk about in this video ends up being a great one for you. While I would say that the Ace-23, the M416, and the AEK-971 are the best guns in the game overall, I've had great games with guns like the CZ-805, the AUG-A3, the A91, and even the assault rifle with the lowest rate of fire, the SAR-21, only shoots at 600 rounds per minute, but it's just laser accurate. And surely a lot of the gameplay you'll be seeing in this video will be with guns I didn't mention because I have been actively trying to try out other guns lately. So once again, try some different guns, see what you like, and just stick with it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope at the very least you got some information on how guns work in Battlefield, or maybe you got an idea of what some of the better guns are so you can try them out for yourself. If you'd like to see similar reviews for different types of weapons, I could probably make that happen for personal defense weapons, light machine guns, or shotguns. Definitely not DMRs because they are beyond terrible, and not for snipers because I'm beyond terrible when I use them. And if you have any questions or comments or corrections about anything I said in this video, please let me know in the comments section below, and I will respond to that as soon as I can. If you like this video, or you learned something from it, or you thought it was well made, please leave a like rating and subscribe to my channel to see more videos like it in the future. If you didn't like this video for some reason and you think I'm dumb or some other variant of that word, thanks for leaving a dislike rating, and thank you for sharing the video via Google Plus with your mean-spirited comment. I'm sure I will cry myself to sleep over it. But anyway guys, thanks for watching and have a nice day.